Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Mike Shell. This is our first podcast on the Triple P. Stands for people, paranormal, and politics. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you all the knowledge that I have, and hopefully y'all can reciprocate, give me some of your knowledge back. You can see some of the headlines in the video already. Let's start with this one. I'm going to give you a little background on who I am. From Connecticut, was born in Georgia. I was raised as a devout Jehovah's Witness. My family was very religious, still is. I'm a little bit estranged for them. At the age of 18, I quit the religion and I got kicked out of my parents' house and I hit the streets. After about a year, I decided to join the military and I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps to get off the streets and avoid selling crack. Went around the world a couple times, almost died a couple times. I did not serve in combat, well, maybe on the streets, but we were doing some dangerous shit. So I got stories out the yin yang, paranormal. I've had UFO, UAP experiences. I'm here to tell my story, offer you my perspective on people, paranormal, and politics. You know, I'm might be one of the most interesting people that you ever meet. I somehow, someway 3 years ago, got up-to-date footage, aerial footage, from 40,000 feet up in a commercial airliner while everybody else was asleep. Up-to-date aerial footage on my cell phone of Area 51 north of Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. Broad daylight. And still to this day, 3 years later, if you go to the satellite footage on Google for Groom Lake, Nevada, the picture looks like it's 20 to 25 years old if you compare it to the video and the pictures I took 3 years ago. They did extensive upgrades proving that Area 51, even though everybody knows about it now, of course that started in 1989 with people who know, Bob Lazar letting the world know what Area 51 was. Everybody knows about it now. But what most people don't know is that it's still an ultra top secret facility controlled by shadowy elements of our government, not just the United States military. Presidents can't even gain access there. And the technology they have is way farther than most people would even ever imagine. Now, of course, I was able to take aerial footage of what's on the ground. But that pales in comparison to what supposedly is underground at Area 51. Now, I'm going to keep these podcasts short. Hopefully, what I just told you will gather your attention. You see the headlines here. I'm going to tell you about this hat. I was out of work, out on medical for severe sciatic nerve pain for like 3 months. Pain was the most excruciating pain I ever experienced in my life, including getting beat up on the streets or all the bad stuff that happened to me in Marine Corps. It literally felt like you could cut my left leg off, and I would be fine with it. That's how much pain I was in. So I had to take time off for work. While I was coping with that pain, I decided, instead of sitting around, why don't I just do what I always wanted to do and take a tour on the northwest corner of the United States. I hit Chicago, Minneapolis, Seattle, Mount Rushmore, Four Corners, the 4 states that have corners on all sides. Had a Navajo merchandiser, wonderful woman, telling me a paranormal, extra dimensional story in that trip, and that's what this chain, with this pendant, represents. Because I bought that pendant from her. She experienced a time lapse while she was driving from New Mexico to Arizona. And she showed me the gas station receipts to prove it. Anyway, on that trip, when I was in Montana. I hit a gas stop, and I think I saw that name, and I was like, yo, that hat is hot. I gotta have it. I gotta mark key events in my trip. Also, another thing you want to know about me is I make my own shirts, Rush Order Tees, plug. I'm also going to plug my book later. I wrote a book. Oh yeah, but by the way, this T-shirt kind of shows my political stance. Um, it's it's a word I invented because I don't really like MAGA. Reason being, I mean I don't like the phrase MAGA. If it was MAG, Make America Great, I'd be down with it. But the fact that it's Make America Great Again, my first thought was my beloved grandfather, right, who lived until the wonderful age of 90 with a full head of hair, unlike me. You know what I'm saying? He grew up in the South. He was raised in Savannah, Georgia, lived there his whole life. You mean to tell me that all the racism and hardships that he experienced in life, knocking him down, he retired as uh, a public school janitor, which is an honorable trade. I mean, cleaning up after all these little bratty kids shit. He did that for 40 years. Salt of the earth, great guy. Super intelligent, but very respectful and humble. You mean to tell me that the best time in America's history for people like my grandfather was back then in the 50s and 60s and 70s? Nah, I don't think so. Not for him. So, you know, as far as my grandfather is concerned, right now is the greatest time in America to be an American. So that's why I don't like MAGA. But anyways, instead of me, since I'm a registered independent, I've never been part of any political party. I believe in George Washington and the Ross Perot and the Jesse Ventura avenue of politics. And that way, I can always come into my liberal and conservative friends' conversations and slap them both in the back of the head and tell them when my opinion don't match up with theirs. So I invented my own saying, mad gaff, keyword, gaff. And once you get to know me, you'll know that I like to put double entendres in my shit. MAGAF stands for Make America Great Again and Prepare for Flooding. That means, the Make America Great Again agenda, in case some of y'all don't know, ramping up coal, ramping up oil production. We're basically going to continue going back to fossil fuels and superheating, the Earth's atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Clouding it up a little bit. So shit's going to get hotter quicker. I mean, it's going to happen anyway because the sun is going to be expanding for another few billion years before it goes to its next transition. So we're going to get roasted anyway. My opinion, I'm not a scientist. I do a lot of scientific research, but I'm going to tell you this. That the Earth is going to heat up no matter what. And that this fossil fuel production, even though I don't approve of all of it, it's a drop in the pan compared to what is going on in our solar system naturally. We'll get into that more later. But yeah, so Make America Great Again, but prepare for flooding means, the most important thing that we need to focus on right now is how to take care of our people. And you can't take care of your people if they're living in flood zones or potential flood zones, like we saw in Texas recently, the tragedy where a girl's summer camp was flooded. And tragically, I think y'all all know that unless you've been living under a rock, these beautiful children were lost to their families. It hurts. I'm also going to get into politics, and we all know, hey, look, I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said, but it is tragic. It's immoral. It's unconscionable that somebody as intelligent and well-spoken as him can just be taken out by some chump who barely has enough experience to get out of his freaking diapers. So, I hope y'all hear this soundtrack in the background. I figured that for my first podcast, I would play for you the old school G stuff that I still consider the greatest rap songs of all time. You know what I'm saying? Um, with your boy, representing the East Coast over there. Oh yeah, another thing, I already made a list of the greatest rappers of all time. I had it debated on Facebook for several months. Sorry, Pop. Sorry, Notorious B.I.G. Um, you the man, but you only number two. Tupac's number one. And I like you better than Tupac, but Tupac's number one. We'll get into that later too. So this is the end of my first podcast. Let's end it before it hits the 11-minute mark. And yo, plug. Yo, go to Amazon.com. My book is real cheap. You can get it on e-Kindle for $1.13, and you get the paperback sent to your crib for $4.69. All right? Yo, in the words of many of my friends, peace, one love. Stay up.